Greetings, everyone. This is Jeff Wilkerson, professor of physics at Luther College, bringing you the next in our series of what to look for in the night sky. We've made it all the way to January 29th, 2024 this time around. So, into the month of January. It's a moon week to start. Last week we talked about the moon, so it washes out. When the moon's close to full, it washes out the sky and makes it hard to see some other things. Last week we went and looked at some binary stars. So you can see some stars that, as long as they're bright enough and not too close to the moon, you can see them. But the moon is waning this week. So by the end of the week, we start to get some dark skies back. So we start with a lot of moon. So right away, on the night of the 29th into the morning of the 30th, the moon is in Virgo. And it is, if we map Virgo here, remember to find Virgo. So there's Spica. Spica is the brightest star in Virgo. And to find Spica, what we like to do is we like to follow the handle of the Big Dipper, and to say the handle of the Big Dipper has this curve in it, and it arcs to the bright star Arcturus in Boetes. And then from Arcturus, we spin on down to Spica. The fact that a nearly full moon, the moon's at 80% full, so it's not quite full. It's not right at full, but it's 80% full on this night, 85% full. The fact that a moon that full, which is going to rise an hour or two after dark, is in Virgo, tells, we think of Virgo as a marker of spring. It's starting to tell us we're turning the corner on winter, right? As I say, it's the last week of January. In fact, the 29th, by the end of the week, we're in February. We're starting to see spring stars more prominently in the night sky. We don't have to wait until early in the morning. It wasn't that long ago. It feels like we've been tracking Venus in the morning sky for a long time. We're done with that now pretty much. We got a little bit to say about it here, but we're pretty much done with it. And it feels like, to me, it feels like it was just yesterday. We were talking about Venus tracking through Virgo here, and now Virgo's up at 9 or 10 o'clock at night or something like that. And Venus is in the morning sky early, all fall into winter. So we're really turning the corner. We're time. It just keeps on slipping into the future or the past or wherever it slips. Anyway, that's a different thing. We'll worry about that some other time. But Spica is here, and so Spica is at the base of this Y of Virgo. Parima is here, and up the right side, up the west side of the Y of Virgo, we've got Zanaya, and then Zavijava, and then the Y curls on up that direction. This morning, this evening into the morning, the night of the 29th into the 30th, the 80%, the 4/5 full moon is going to be sliding from Zavijava down to Zanaya. So you can watch it right in this region. It's bright enough, it's going to be a little bit hard to see those stars, but those stars are fairly bright stars, so you should be able to check them out. So that's great. While this is going on, there's drama happening in the morning sky on this night, and we just can't see it, I don't think, because the sun is, all this is happening too close to the sun. So we're still lost in the glow of sunrise, or we're getting lost in the glow of the sunrise, because Venus is sitting right on top of a beautiful globular star cluster, M22. But I don't think you're going to be able to pick M22 out of the brightening sky. That's how much Venus is sliding towards sunrise. And then even closer towards sunrise, Mars and Mercury are almost right on top of each other. As you might be able to pick some of this out. You'll see Venus for sure. You might be able to pick out Mars and Mercury if you work at it. But they're pretty much in the glow. And the globular cluster, I don't think you're going to be able to pick out at all. But you got some nice pairings of stuff there going on. You just can't see. Now, a couple of nights later, the 31st into the morning of February 1st, the moon has slipped down here and is relatively close to Spica. So the moon's going that direction, and it's going to land down here, make a really nice pairing with Spica. So this is worth checking out. It's down to about 2/3 full, a little bit less than 2/3 full on this night of the 31st into the morning of the 1st. So check that out. Now, a few days later, the evening of the 3rd into the morning of the 4th, and now we're talking really the morning of the 4th. So the moon's down to a 1/3 full, and a 1/3 full moon rises late enough. We're talking about after midnight here, probably a good bit after midnight when we're checking this out. Let's say 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning is your best time to get out here and see the moon near Antares. So Antares is the bright orange star, rival of Mars. It's the bright orange star in the head of Scorpius, in the heart of Scorpius right here. The head is these three stars out in here. Between the three stars that mark the head in bright orange Antares lies the moon on this night. So a third full moon. Now, by the time we get there, so by the time we're getting to the end of the week, second, third, fourth, we're wrapping around out here. We've made it to February. By the time we get there, the moon's waning away. It's getting to be dark enough, and it's rising late enough that it doesn't get into the sky until later. If you want to go out in the evening and observe some things, then by all means, you've got the opportunity to do that. So let's take that opportunity right now to visit Orion. Orion's one of the most beloved constellations and maybe one of the better known constellations. And people love Orion. Big, beautiful constellation. And right now, there's no better time to observe it than right now. At 9 o'clock about, roughly speaking, 9 o'clock, it's as high in the sky as it's going to get. We say the meridian is the line that connects north to south directly overhead. And so sometime during this week, probably your local time, it depends, time zones are messy, right? But sometime this week, Orion will probably be on the meridian around 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. your time, local time. And that's great. That means it's good and dark. It's been dark for a couple hours. It's been dark. The sun's good and set. It's not middle of the night cold. You don't have to stay up really late to see it. There's Orion. Orion's got the three stars that mark the belt. Big bright Rigel is a leg star down here. Big bright red Betelgeuse as a shoulder star up here. And so you go out, you see it now. And the most famous object in Orion, Betelgeuse and Rigel are famous, but maybe the most famous is the Orion Nebula right there, M42. In the Orion Nebula, star birth region, so you got this cloud of material that stars can collapse out of. You drop down the three belts and make a right turn, and you see it there. It's big and bright, and you can see it without any optical aid. It's often depicted as Orion's sword. And so you can see this nice object, but it's one of the best objects in a small telescope. It's beautiful in binoculars. It's beautiful without any optical aid. In a telescope, it comes alive. It has these sort of fingers of dust that wrap around, and you feel that object. You feel the three-dimensionality of that object right there. And this is like I say, this is as good a time as any. Right now, as we head into as the calendar turns from January to February, it's as good a time to see Orion as you're going to get. So let's watch the moon do its thing, moving through Virgo and into the week in Scorpius, and then as the moon wanes away, goes from 80% full down to 1/3 full, then it starts to get darker skies in the evening, and we have a chance to get out. Let's take advantage of it this week and get out and look at the Orion Nebula. So that's what we got for you this week. As always, thanks for watching, everybody, and we hope you have a great week ahead.